Okay, hopefully we can get everyone back in. This is the tough lunch session. So I appreciate you guys doing it. Come in the circle.
Circle of trust, right?
Yeah, this is a circle of trust. So the town hall reports. Matt Spiegel, you led the brands and agencies town hall report, or town hall. And Matt Prohaska, you had to bounce a few people out that were not publishers, but
only 4 this time.
You did the publishers. Tyler was supposed to be bouncing, and he claims that he asked them, and they said that they were publishers. I guess everyone is a publisher now. Everyone is a brand. Sure. And then the tech town hall did not happen because I think the tech people were out late last night.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So frustrating dealing with buyers and sellers. That makes understandable.
Okay. So I was in this one, but I was not in that one. So give me the TLDR. What was the big highlights?
TLDR.
Too long, didn't read.
Ah, got it.
It's a function on Digiday.com.
Sorry, I should know that.
Yes.
Highlights. We talked about the reasons for programmatic.
Yeah.
And
what did you
what
guys
are those
discuss?
reasons? I was getting there.
Okay.
A lot about control. Talk a lot about control, transparency, a lot of things we typically think of, but that was a definite topic of conversation. So, and we didn't get too deep into why that matters. But so one theme was, hey, agencies, brands, recognizing there's a control mechanism. Let's not, we don't have to give that all to the publisher side. We can have some of that. So that was one piece. Another piece.
They've had most of it for a long time all over themselves, right?
Well, but not the weeds.
No,
yeah. Anyway.
Publishers in the room would have said that.
Oh, right.
Channeling that.
Fair enough. And then we spoke a lot about the difficulty in actually figuring out technology partners and how most people are still wildly confused with how to select a technology partner, how many to choose, which ones to choose, and the fact that that's, again, a common pain point. We also spoke about we got into the education and how people are continuing to teach what programmatic means. We had a little bit of discussion on what do these things mean and how are people using the words and focusing on the idea of data and technology as the programmatic being the catch-all phrase that includes all of those things and how the gurus in the room are spending a lot of time having to educate their peers. And it's probably more, but I think that's
pretty good in 30 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
We didn't go deep on anything, but we covered a lot of different ground.
Right. So Matt, in the publisher town hall, a lot of talk about the other Matt, about private marketplaces, about mobile, some frustrations in mobile.
Yes.
Give me the report.
We came back with 2 areas of focus that took up 90% of the time that we had. One was first-party data management. So how does a publisher get started? How does the publisher leverage what has already been set up? A lot of times we equate DMPs to sports cars. A lot of folks love to talk about them at cocktail parties, but a lot of times they're sitting in the driveway with expensive monthly payments because nobody knows how to drive a stick in the organization, right?
Both sides of the
But they look great. What's that?
That's true on both sides of the app.
True, but buyers have
Buyers
a
are
little bit
better.
of a head
Yeah.
start.
Do you know what the iPhone autocorrects DMPs to?
God, what?
Dumps. It's very interesting. I don't know what Apple is
room.
saying, but I'm just pointing it out.
Symbolic. The folks at IAD need to answer for that. So there were 2 asks that came out of the DMP side to tech companies in the room, and we were going to knock on the door with the ad tech guys there. One is please DMPs and exchanges help with actually putting things on the shelf better and being able to see, as Pete mentioned and as we talked about in the last session, how a publisher's first-party data can more easily match with a buyer's first-party data if that is the goal in just being able to cookie sync. It would really help from a forecasting standpoint. It would really help a lot of people get off the ledge when their bosses say, why did you just spend 16 hours and 3 weeks on something with this great-sounding brand and they're doing $62 a day?
Yep.
And then, so the other area of focus was on mobile, as you mentioned. You heard from a couple other panels. I mean, we've got, I would say, just about everybody in the room was already north of 50% in terms of total mobile traffic overall. And so, geez, I'm monetizing that 50 cents on the dollar with Zillow maybe as an exception, with John and the crew doing a great job there. But most folks were feeling the pain of, my God, mobile programmatic is slow. We heard a little bit about why that is.
And not enough demand. This is a big
So
complaint.
one of the asks is to the buyers to humbly, please, how can we help you get more budget around mobile programmatic that is more than just retargeting and trying to cookie sync? And then two was an ask around, again, on the DMP side, trying to speed up the probabilistic and or deterministic methods of being able to stitch together cross-device so that reach and frequency can be done a little bit better there.
Okay.
So those were some of the challenges.
So Matt and I were talking a minute ago. Gets into one of the things we talked about. I asked the people in the town hall, how many people think that there is any such thing, or how to phrase it, the opposite, because all the hands went up. Like, is there any such thing as programmatic budgets? And the point was like, no, there isn't. Like, no one's moving towards the idea of working for a quote programmatic budget. And we were getting towards a discussion of, hey, it's actually about audience targeting, or it's about the use of automation, or the use of non-guaranteed versus guaranteed media. And I think back to the point of publishers saying, how do I get more of this stuff? I think part of it gets back to making sure the conversation is, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
I thought Pete did a great job
go back to
of
the
that.
beginning. Yep. Absolutely.
And so, yes, it's about pushing more things into piping that is programmatically delivered. But I think there is this notion of that. I think what's one of the misses that we see in the different sides of the aisle is that language gap, where, again, marketers are saying, I want to use more of this capability, but the budgets that you think that live in the trading desk and are just going to keep growing, well, that's not really the thing. I want to use programmatic piping across many dimensions. So, hey, look for how can you use that capability layer to accomplish more things.
Mm-hmm. So the tech town hall didn't happen, but what if it did? What were the issues that you think it should have discussed?
You can go first. You were most recently in a tech company.
Differentiation, right? How to stand out, because there are 5 people doing probably everything. So that would be one. I think understanding both publishers and buyers' capabilities, or needs rather, not capabilities, needs. Like what's the market really after? I think a lot of technology companies are missing that. Where is this actually going? Again, it's not about building the capabilities; it's the capabilities to accomplish something. So I would have wanted to spend time, if I were in that room, discussing that. What do we think we're solving for? That's 2. You gotta
there's
go
a little bit of a dynamic challenge there, where Business Insider and PGA Tour compete a little bit. I just did that was in honor of Pete, mocking his own air quotes. But I mean, there would be people in that town hall that, half the room would probably want to talk about what code on page means and getting above the exchanges and pitching publishers. Why are you paying a fee to these guys? And no, just stick it right here, and our bids will be higher. Seriously. And the other half of the room wants to crush them, maybe. And so, that might have been a little tougher dynamic. But to your point around being able to unify on things, certainly. I would think, and what we hear a lot when we either help, on our own, help different ad tech companies, or when we're working with clients that engage in those ad tech companies, it's to your point around trying to solve real need, trying to, maybe return a phone call or an email. No, really, even though you met with us a year ago, things honestly have changed here. I mean, it's a massive arms race going on. When you layer in the horizontal of display or desktop, mobile, video, linear TV, out of home, and that arms race of buy versus build versus partner, and then you layer on kind of the different verticals of how they're going after, and are we on both sides, seller and buyer, it gets a little complicated.
So final thing is, what is an issue in your respective town halls that wasn't addressed that you think should have been addressed if there was more time?
Buyers always go first.
Buyers go first.
Like that courtesy deflection.
Right. Yeah. That's good for you. That worked well. And I'm currently delaying longer.
I'm thinking of a much better answer right now.
What didn't we address? I suppose we if we had more time, we were starting to get into, I think, structural roles and responsibilities in each company, much less between the different companies. Meaning, what does it mean to be the programmatic expert? Where does your job begin and end? How does that touch with you? Or if you're an agency, with the account team that's actually the leading strategy. If you're a client, how do you work within the budgets that your clients are using? If you're trying to do that between companies, how does that work? So I think there's still a lot of structural conversations to have.
It would have been, or if we would have had more time, it would have been org structure, and I think if it would have been at 8:15 at night after some beverages instead of 8:15 in the morning after yoga or barely waking up, then It would have been what's going on in my organization and how's it going over there. And hey, I have this role, but I kind of do this. I kind of don't do that. I think we should be doing this. There would probably be a little of that.
Yeah.
And then probably viewability would have come up
Yeah.
1 to 16 times. It's going to come up again.
It came up a couple
later
times.
today, and will be a topic. That overlap of programmatic and viewability.
It would be a
obviously
good
is there.
exercise for you guys to do the town hall at 8 a.m. and then do it at midnight again and see
A repeat.
see how the conversations
That's
are
true.
different.
And
Maybe
just
it will-
live stream that
Yeah,
with the camera
exactly.
in the corner.
I love
Be
that.
perfect. Okay, thanks a lot, Matt and Matt.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Okay, and now we are